Welcome back, beautiful. I am so excited that if you're on this keto journey, whether you've been on it for a few years or if you're new to it, that you have found my channel, Keto Over 50. You know, a lot of people ask me, why Keto Over 50, RJ? And there's a great story behind that, because the very first time I tried to do a video, I caught myself referencing things like, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. And I talked about Twiggy, how I grew up with Twiggy and how dysfunctional that made me. So that's why Keto Over 50. I have got an amazing recipe that I'm excited to share with you. I'm out of cookies, and you know, we can have our sweets, but we have to make them. So I want to share this with you. I have created this notebook that I made called Keto Keepers, where I print my very favorite recipes because I don't want to have to go back to the internet or have a big stack of just wild papers. So this is just tops for me. This recipe that I have tweaked and fussed with, and it's for peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. How's that sound to you? And it's loaded with butter and some Lily's white and dark chocolate chips, and a little bit, I only have a quarter cup left of toasted pecans, but you could put peanuts or pecans in there. And then this is my very favorite peanut butter, Crazy Richards. They're crazy, I'm telling you. I like the chunky, and it's got huge chunks of peanuts in it, which make for the very best cookies. So I've got all my ingredients gathered around while I'm keeping an eye on a pot of soup that I have going here, which is my creamy Italian garlic sausage soup. And every once in a while it gets a little ambitious, so I have to run over here and stir it. So I don't want to just go sit down and do nothing. So this is now all the way down to like just above low. So that's going. I washed my spatula. This is my Love spatula. Love was my mother's name. And I found these like shortly after she passed. And I just had to have it. And I was mostly sad because I would have loved to have gotten one for her. She would have liked that a lot. She would have loved these cookies. She used to tell me she used to tell me my low calorie food that I used to eat before I knew about keto. She would tell me it tastes like dirt. It's awful. But I just know that she would absolutely love my keto cookie recipe. It is so easy. And the original recipe that I found said it made a dozen cookies or so. I don't know what I've done to it, but it makes about 30 cookies. I've got my cookie sheets ready to go. And I found this, which is one of those devices for the kitchen, a little gadget. I don't know how I lived past my 50s, we'll say, to this point without one of these, because I just always figured spoons will do it. You just scoop up cookie dough in a spoon, take another spoon, get it off. I can make 2 trays of cookies in 2 minutes, flat, boom, boom, boom. So we'll see that in a minute. While my soup is cooking, I'm sorry, one of the ovens is going. So all I have in my bowl right now is a half a cup of softened butter. And it calls for unsalted. But then you add salt to the recipe. How much salt? A half a teaspoon. So I'm like, what the heck? What's up with that? All right. And this is just, I use this wonderful monk fruit sweetener with allulose that I order online from Micro Ingredients. Golden, no erythritol, which doesn't help because this is erythritol. So we're going to use regular white erythritol. This is the erythritol and monk fruit that I get at Costco. It's really cheap. It's like $9 for a big bag. I also get my almond flour there. So I have almond flour, vanilla extract, a little almond extract, wonderful peanut butter that you like. And when I add the almond flour, it's going to make a difference depending on how much oil is in the peanut butter that you buy. Because when I get this, and I know we can have oil, I know we can have fat on keto, but I actually hold a knife to it and I pour out that ½ inch of oil at the top. I just don't like it. It makes I'm heating up the oven for the cookies, 350, 14 minutes. Anyway, I pour off the oil on the top and then I stir it all up. It's very thick at the bottom. It's nice in the middle. I just prefer it that way. So if you're cooking and you have the oil in your peanut butter, you might need a little more almond flour. Go by your eye, when you're stirring it, does it look like cookie batter? And will it hold in a scoop? So this is it. A half cup of unsalted butter and 1 cup of sugar-free. And this only has peanuts in it. It doesn't even have salt in it. This is one of those treats that I just eat with a spoon. It's so delicious. And I like it on a chaffle, and I make some homemade marmalade. So this calls for a cup. I have to keep checking because I want to put in more. But if you can see this, all the chunks in this peanut butter, oh my God. It's so good. It just has that natural sweetness to it that peanuts have. And I should use a measuring cup, but haven't till now. Why start, right? But if you're more comfortable using a measuring cup, by all means do so. Because then it does get dicey at the end when you're trying to get the batter the right consistency and get it just the perfect consistency for cookies. Okay, so cream together, preheat oven to 350. It's there, you heard it beep. I have my cookie sheets prepared with parchment paper, or you can grease them. And I am going to beat the peanut butter, the softened butter, the 2 sugar substitutes, and it's a half a cup of brown sugar and a half a cup of white granulated sugar substitute. You can use Swerve, I have not used my allulose, which I prefer, but this is monk fruit and erythritol, and it seems to work best for these cookies. It's just my opinion. A half a cup of brown sugar, the vanilla extract, and the egg, and the almond extract too. So that's it. So I'm going to add all these and get it rolling. I always like a recipe where you just put everything in the bowl and you mix it. It's just so easy. In fact, I love this burnt Bosque cheesecake from All Day I Dream About Food that is so wonderful. One of the things I really love about it is you use 1 measuring cup. I don't even remember if it's a third a cup or a half a cup, but you use 1 measuring cup, one less thing to wash, right? So I've got the peanut butter, the butter, 2 eggs, and I'm going to add the sugar substitute and the vanilla extract. And these are a half a cup each. Another great recipe because it's a half a cup of white sugar. And a half cup of brown sugar. It's quite the cloud, huh? And this has that good brown sugar flavor that it imparts into everything you use it in. Isn't that beautiful? I'm only happy if I have a huge mess and 14 things going at once in my kitchen. So there we have the wet ingredients. And now we're going to add a half a teaspoon of sea salt. And you can do this how you like to do it. That's how I like to do it. I'm more precise with the baking powder. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and my teaspoon is wet from the extract, so I'm going to do 2 half teaspoons. Don't get confused. I'm here 2 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. Oh, that was loud. Sorry. And almond flour. And I have 1 1/4 cup of almond flour. So this is a half a cup. I love these canisters. They're so fantastic because I like that this one has the bar. So you don't have to get a knife to level it off, right? So there's 1. And then I say 1 1/4, which which to me would be about like that. But I'm going to add a little bit more, maybe like half of a half. I know that's a quarter, right? But more like 3/4. And we're going to see how that goes. And you'll know if it's the right consistency for cookie batter. And then you want to stop and scrape the sides. That looks just about perfect. I've made this so many times. I've made this so many times. I'm getting better at guessing. So come here, Mom. I'm going to scrape the sides here with my love spatula. You know, she went to play golf one time and they put her with Faith, Hope, and Charity. For real. They all got a kick out of that. Okay. And then I'm going to add, I need more space here. I'm going to add the toasted chopped pecans. And again, a half cup, 1 cup to wash if you do it this way. A half a cup of Lily's sugar-free chips, dark chocolate I like. This is, again, up to you, whatever you like, what you prefer. And then a half a cup of the white ones. The white ones actually start to taste like marshmallow when you use them in baking. Okay, this next part is easy, 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 easy. Like I said before, I was using 2 spoons, which took forever to dish out, you know, a cookie sheet full of cookies. If you don't have one of these, you need one. I was holding them in my hand at a store and I talked myself out of them. I thought, RJ, you haven't had one of these in your whole life. It's never slowed you down. What was I thinking? Because this is so simple. I don't care that they're uniform or not. I really don't. This would have taken me already 2 minutes to just get this far. And you can make sure that your chips or your sizes of, bit me back, sizes of your cookies are all the right size. And look at how fast it goes. I did this to make meatballs when I first got these, this little size. I got a set of 3 and it has big ones, not quite softball size, but bigger than a golf ball. And I'll leave a link for them down below if you decide to get them through the link. I do get a little affiliate commission from Amazon, but it doesn't cost you any more to do that. So if you don't have one of these, wow, treat yourself. Look at this. I have a whole tray of cookies ready in basically, what is that, a minute? And they're all the right size. They're all perfect. And the thing that gets me about it is I was so happy without one. I'm much happier with. So I'm much happier when I can make faster cookies, better, faster, longer. And that's the first tray. And they go in a 350-degree oven for 14 minutes. Give that a shot, depending on your oven, 13 to 15 minutes. But I have found that so consistently, 14 minutes is the ticket with this. And I make 2 trays. Like I said, the original recipe that I started with made, I think it said 14 cookies, or I don't know. And they were only 3 carbs a piece. Making some dinner because I think the soup is going to take a little bit longer. I'm thinking about an hour and a half because I didn't want it to burn. So are you seeing this? Yes, this is just, look at all that's left. It's just amazing. Like I said, I think the true value comes from the fact that I didn't have one for so long. And when you finally do get an appliance that you just love, that way with my air fryer, I had so many bad air fryers and they smelled like burning Teflon. And then I finally found this Fabuletta that is fabulous. Fabuletta. So I always love to help you find something that's going to make your life easier, especially your keto life. Okay, so we have one little guy He'll be my snack for tonight. Can you imagine taking my keto ice cream and putting it between two of these? That would be a big treat, like for your birthday or something. You wouldn't want to do that every day. But look at this. There's no way that I could have done that, measuring teaspoons and scraping and doing all that. They're ready to go. So we're going to put these in a preheated 350-degree oven. And something's more delicate. See, I'm putting them in at opposite angles. But if something is more delicate, bake it in 2 batches. I watch someone on TV, on YouTube, who always burns his stuff, and he puts like 2 big cookie sheets in the oven when he's making something very delicate. And I'm screaming at the TV, do one at a time, they'll be perfect. But something like this is fine. And in a few minutes, I'll take them out and I'll switch them around, and I'll put the middle sheet on the top shelf and the top sheet on the middle shelf. And they'll come out at the same way. They'll be perfect. In my oven, 14 minutes at 350. Now you can see everything that's behind me when I'm cooking. So this is what I'm talking about. Just grab a corner. Be real careful that you don't burn your hand. And just slide that out. And you can get your pans washed and get ready. And then as they cool, you just pick them off the parchment paper. And you've got the best cookies ever. Let me take this little guy. Oh, they're still hot. But I know he's delicious. The brown sugar, the vanilla, the almond extract, the chips, even the toasted pecans make this one of the best keto cookies I've ever made. In fact, I used to make biscotti too, which is a lot harder to make. And I just stopped making it because these are so easy, especially since I got my new scoop. Oh, let me show you this. Like I need more stuff in my drawer, right? This is what I got. A set of 3. Like I said, this one's a little bigger than a golf ball. There's a medium, which is usually what you get a meatball for at a restaurant. And I like the little one for meatballs and cookies. So this was a nice treat. And I don't know how I lived without it. I do that with a lot of things. Like you manage and you don't get anything new. And then I think this was like $8. And I remember calling my dad and saying, I cannot believe I got a scoop. I am so excited because it just works brilliantly. It does what it's supposed to do. It does more than one thing. It does sweet and savory. So I was really excited about the scoops. And if you don't have one, make your life easier. Go get one.
Look at these beauties. My recipe gave me 32 delicious yet low-carb cookies that are a real treat. And they're just about 2 carbs each. And because of the ingredients, they won't spike your glycemic index. See how perfectly the bottoms are browned? This is exactly what you want to achieve. They're so easy to make. In fact, the hardest thing about making them is making them last. That's why I always have some that I put in a food saver bag and freeze them for later. You can enjoy these treats all year long. This is RJ saying thank you for watching. I hope you'll like, share, and subscribe.